Right, hello everyone, and welcome to the first lecture for Chapter 5, The Geographies of Religion. I've never tried to do a video lecture before, but this seemed like a good option for today, so we'll see how it works out. And the nice thing about this is, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause or rewind the video to make sure that you get everything down in your notes. So we will jump right into Chapter 5. This chapter deals with all aspects of religion, which is another key aspect of human culture. For most people, religion is a fundamental part of their cultural identity, and it's something that many people feel very passionate about as well. It's something that's very complicated, very complex, and we're really just going to scratch the surface of this topic in this class. So in this chapter, we're going to concentrate mostly on the geography of religion. And we will examine it through some of those basic themes that we've discussed in the class so far. So as you can see from the outline here on this slide, throughout the chapter we're going to be talking about the different types of religions, some of their main characteristics, where different religious groups are distributed through the world today, where they all started and how they diffused to where they are today, how nature plays a part in religion, and the last thing that we will look at in the chapter is how different religions are expressed on the cultural landscape. So we will start out with a basic textbook definition of religion. It is a relatively structured set of beliefs and practices that help people make sense of the universe and their place in it. And that is from your textbook. And the key thing here is that it's structured. People generally have to adhere to certain rules and certain beliefs within their particular faith. Another key idea is that religion is used to help people make sense of the universe. And it's often used to help them figure out their place in the universe and their place in the world. In a world where there's so much that we can't control, a lot of people turn to religion in order to feel that they have some control over at least some part of their existence. Religion can also provide what we call a cosmogony. This is a theory that provides an explanation of the beginning of the world. Cosmogonies are important because having this sense of when and how the world began can really influence a person's sense of belonging within that universe. And it can also influence their sense of place and their attachment to place, which are important concepts that we've already touched on in this semester. And just like language, religion shapes people's identities. It helps define who we are. And for a lot of people, it helps define how they live their lives on a daily basis. Because of this, it is another key component of our culture. It unites people through rituals and beliefs. Often we mark the milestones of life through some religious ceremony, birth, the coming of age, marriage, death, etc. It can also be a way that we express individuality. We tend to think of religion as a group or institutionalized activity, but some people also choose to express their religious beliefs on a more personal level, while some may choose not to believe in any religion at all. So it can be a way to express our individuality as well as our inclusion within a larger cultural group. So again, it's extremely complex. The different belief systems, different rituals and practices can be quite involved and sometimes difficult to understand. And because it's not always easy to understand the beliefs and reasoning of others, it can and has created a lot of conflict in the world, which we will talk about later on in the chapter. Just like with language, we have several different ways to classify and categorize different religions to make them a little bit easier to study. So first we're going to talk about some of the major categories that are used to define religions, and then we'll move into talking more specifically about 5 of the world's major religions. So the first distinction between religions can be made in whether or not a religious group seeks to convert others to their faith and who it appeals to. So we have universalizing or proselytic versus ethnic religions. Universalizing religions are ones that seek to appeal to all people. This includes people of all ethnicities, all religions, or all languages, all cultural values, etc. Everybody is accepted into faith no matter who they are, and no one is excluded. Universalizing religions actively seek converts. the followers of universalizing religions are often instructed to spread the word of their religious beliefs in order to convert others into believers and followers. Many religions have missionaries whose sole job it is to spread the word of their faith and to convert as many people as possible into their particular religion. Universalizing religions are often closely associated with one key individual who established that particular faith, like a prophet or another key figure that was instrumental in the founding of that religion. They tend to be fairly widespread religions with large numbers of followers throughout the world. You see some examples here on the slide. Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism are all universalizing religions. Ethnic religions, on the other hand, appeal to a smaller group of people living in one place. So they are practiced by a particular ethnic group or a particular tribe. Members are usually born into that particular faith, and ethnic religions do not seek converts. They're not going out and trying to convince others to follow their faith. In fact, sometimes outsiders are actually discouraged or prohibited from joining that faith. For example, Judaism. You are born a Jew if you have a Jewish mother. They trace their descent through the mother's lines. You can convert to Judaism, but the procedure is very complicated and has traditionally been discouraged. Hinduism is another type of ethnic religion. Sometimes an ethnic religion can be the basis for a larger universalizing religion. So, for example, Christianity came out of Judaism. So Judaism is the parent religion to Christianity, as well as Islam. Another distinction that we can make about religions is how many gods are worshipped, or the various types of belief systems that are incorporated. So we have monotheistic religions. These are ones that believe in only one God. Others are often forbidden within those religions. So, for example, Christianity and Islam. There is one creator and no others. Polytheistic religions, on the other hand, these are religions that believe in many gods or many deities. For example, voodoo, which is practiced in Haiti and parts of the southern United States. This is of West African origin, and slaves brought this tradition to North America with them through relocation diffusion. Often in polytheistic religions, there may be one supreme god or supreme spirit that's worshipped, but they also have a hierarchy of other spirits that they call upon at different times in order to help them with specific tasks, or they may ask them for protection or for other assistance. So there is multiple deities that are worshipped. Atheism then is the belief that there is no deity, there is no God of any kind. We also have syncretic versus orthodox religions. Syncretic religions combine elements of two or more belief systems. So they are a mixture of different belief systems. So the religion of Santo Daime, for example, this is practiced in Brazil, and it combines elements of Catholicism with animism that is practiced by traditional indigenous people of Brazil. Animism is the belief that all things on earth possess a spirit, possess a soul, and should be worshipped as sacred. So rocks, trees, rivers, etc. all have spirits associated with them. So it incorporates a lot of reverence for the natural environment into their beliefs. In the Santo Daime religion, they have a lot of traditional Catholic rituals, so prayer, mass, saying of the rosary, etc. But they also combine other elements. They have a deep appreciation for nature, and they drink a tea made from a plant that is hallucinogenic called ayahuasca. And this produces visions of the spirit world. So they've combined two different religions together. Santeria is another example, practiced in Cuba, a syncretic religion that combines Roman Catholicism and African religious traditions. Orthodox religions, on the other hand, are not open to blending from other beliefs. Purity of faith and purity of that religion and its practices are emphasized. There are Orthodox strains in many religions, such as Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Adherents to Orthodox religions follow a much more strict lifestyle. a much more strict practice in terms of their religion. So again, they're not open to blending from other religions. So this map, which is figure 5.2 from your textbook, page 131, shows the dominant religious faiths and where they're distributed in the world today. We have to remember that just like with languages, there's a lot of variation across the world within different countries and within different regions. But what this map is showing us is the dominant religious faith in that particular region. So I'm going to point out some of the major religions that we're going to talk about in more depth, so kind of keep in mind where these are, or you can get out your textbook and follow along on the map. So Christianity, basically everything in the purple shades. And we will talk more about all the different branches of Christianity in a few minutes. You've got Eastern Orthodox, which is the dark purple, mainly present in Eastern Europe and throughout Russia, in this region. You've got Protestant denominations in Northern Europe, Scandinavian countries, for example, plus the southeastern and central U.S., all the way up into Canada, and much of Australia as well. You've got Protestant denominations. Roman Catholicism present in Western Europe, the Western United States, a lot of South America, and parts of Africa as well. And then we also have the Mormon culture region, which we've talked about a few times before in class, here in surrounding Utah, basically. Then we have Islam in the green shaded areas. And you've got two different branches. You've got the Shia, which are mostly in Iran and eastern Iraq, the lighter shade here. And then the darker shade represents Sunni in Muslims throughout much of the rest of the Middle East and northern Africa. Judaism occupies one tiny, very tiny little spot right here on the map where it is dominant, which is in the country of Israel. Hinduism in the orange shade all throughout India and Nepal. And then Buddhism, there's various branches of Buddhism that are prevalent throughout the rest of Asia, China, Mongolia, Southeast Asia, including places like Vietnam and Thailand. So the map looks similar to what we found in Chapter 4. We have relatively the same type of distribution patterns with languages and religions. You have relatively little variation in the Western Hemisphere, but you have a lot more diversity in terms of religious beliefs in the Eastern Hemisphere.